Now, what is cycling cadence? Basically, it's the number of revolutions per minute that your feet are turning over on the pedals. So if you were to count how many times your left foot hits the top of the pedal stroke in 1 minute, that would be your cadence. Typical cadences for recreational athletes are around 60 to 80 RPM. Professional athletes, on average, are around 90 RPM or higher on flats, and typically around 70 RPM or so when climbing hills. Now, this is going to vary widely by the rider. Now, what's the optimal cadence for you? Well, that depends. It's basically the cadence that you've been training the most at. In general, if you are at the lower end, so somewhere around 60 to 70 RPM, you probably want to improve your cadence a little bit more. This is especially important for road cycling races where you need to be able to accelerate quickly. If you're a time trialist like a triathlete and you're maintaining more of a steady pace, then a higher cadence is not necessarily as beneficial. So you can determine your cadence several ways. So one way is to go out and buy a cadence sensor. Typically this is a little plastic measurement device that you attach to your crank arms, and then it measures how many times you're pedaling past a certain point. The other way is you can do it manually with a watch, which I'm going to show you. So to measure your cadence, you can do this either on a trainer or on your bicycle outside. I'm going to demonstrate on a trainer. Basically, what I want to do is measure how many times my left leg hits my hand at the top of the pedal stroke. I'm going to do this for 30 seconds. At the end of 30 seconds, I take that number and double it. That'll give me my cadence. So for example, if I'm pedaling and I count 35 times, I double that, and then my cadence is 70 RPM. Or if I do 45 times, double that, it would be 90 RPM. So what is the optimal cadence for you? Well, the answer is, it depends. What is the cadence that you are most comfortable with, and where have you been training? If you are somewhere in the range of 70 to 90 to 95 RPM, then you're probably okay. If you're lower than that, you may want to consider raising your cadence. In order to raise your cadence, you basically need to practice riding at a higher cadence. So if you're on the flats, shift into an easier gear than what you're used to. Give it some time, realize it may take a couple weeks for the adjustments to kick in. Good luck.